and a very warm welcome. I am Gushin Garland and you're watching Firstpost. In the next few minutes, I get you the top 40 updates from around the world, only here on Fast and Factual. Let's get started. According to reports, US President Donald Trump is set to meet the Qatari Prime Minister in Doha. This is to review progress on US-backed ceasefire negotiations between Israel and Hamas. Talks ongoing since July 6 seek a 60-day truce involving a phased release of the remaining hostages, partial withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza and broader conflict resolution mechanisms. The negotiations mediated by the US, Qatar and Egypt have stalled due to disagreements over the scope of Israel's potential withdrawal. Iran's parliament declared that the country should not resume nuclear negotiations with the United States unless unspecified preconditions are fulfilled. The statement released via state media accused the US of using talks to mask potential military action, particularly in coordination with Israel, while the exact terms were not detailed. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has previously demanded assurances against future attacks on Iran as a prerequisite for further discussions. Fighters allied with Yemen's exiled government announced the seizure of 750 tons of Iranian-supplied missiles and weaponry allegedly destined for Houthi rebels. The operation, reportedly conducted in late June, marks the first major arms interception by the National Resistance Force. It is an armed group aligned with Tariq Saleh, nephew of former Yemeni President Ali Abdullah Saleh. Iran and the Houthis have not commented on the incident. Israel has issued a stern warning to Syria, asking it is to leave the Druze community alone. The Israeli defense minister also reiterated that they will not abandon the Druze community in Syria. Meanwhile, fighting intensified in Syria's southern Sweda region just hours after the defense ministry claimed a ceasefire had been reached. Armed Druze groups continued operations to reclaim sections of the city from Bedouin fighters following deadly sectarian clashes that erupted over the weekend. At least 248 people have died since the outbreak, including 98 Syrian government personnel. Now moving to the updates from the war in Europe. According to the Ukrainian Air Force, Russia launched at least 400 drones and one ballistic missile towards at least 3 Ukrainian cities. While the Ukrainian forces claim to have shot down most of the drones, the missile hit 12 unspecified targets. Meanwhile, it also added that 57 drones were not intercepted. The drone attack wounded at least 8 people in central Ukraine. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte cautioned that India, Brazil and China risk facing severe secondary sanctions if they maintain commercial ties with Russia amid ongoing hostilities in Ukraine. Rutte urged leaders in the 3 nations to pressure Russian President Vladimir Putin towards peace talks. And speaking of trade, President Trump announced a new trade agreement imposing a 19% tariff on goods imported from Indonesia. The move is part of a broader campaign to reduce the US trade deficit and secure what Trump deems fairer terms with global partners. The Indonesia deal precedes a broader tariff hike scheduled for August 1 and follows Trump's pledge to target more countries. The White House is also preparing letters for additional tariff measures affecting several smaller trading nations. According to reports, India will get 3 Apache helicopters from the US. The choppers will come to India reportedly on June 21st at the Hindon Air Force Station. These helicopters will reportedly be deployed on the Pakistan border. Previously, India has bought 22 Apache helicopters from US government and Boeing in 2015. At least 5 schools in New Delhi received a bomb threat, marking the 3rd consecutive day of similar incidents across the Indian capital city. Police teams, bomb squads and cyber experts conducted extensive searches, though no explosives were found. In total, around 10 schools and 1 college have received bomb threats since July 14th, prompting heightened security and evacuations. Cuba's Minister of Labor has resigned following widespread backlash over remarks denying the existence of beggars on the island. In a recent parliamentary session, the minister called that individuals seen searching through garbage were doing so voluntarily to make easy money. Her comments triggered public outrage across Cuban communities. The minister stepped down soon after. On to climate news now. In Canada, at least 122 wildfires are still burning in Manitoba as of Wednesday morning. The province remained under a state of emergency, now extended to August 8th. Thousands of people were forced to leave their homes due to the fires, and over 100 Mexican fighters arrived earlier this month to help local teams. However, cooler weather and rain helped stabilize some areas earlier this week. In the United States, flood alerts remain across parts of the Northeast. In New Jersey, at least 2 people died after their car was swept away by floodwaters in Plainfield on Tuesday, while Virginia declared a state of emergency on July 15th following torrential rain. The intense rainfall caused widespread travel disruption across the regions. In Russia's capital, cloudy skies and light showers followed a day of heavy rainfall and flooding. Heavy storms hit Moscow, causing flash floods on Tuesday. According to authorities in some parts of the city, it was at least a month's worth of rain that fell in under 2 hours. Cars were submerged and roads flooded across the Russian capital. According to officials, no injuries were reported, and climate experts said extreme weather is hitting Russia more often due to rising temperatures. Lebanon faced its worst drought in record this year. Water levels in the Litani River fell to historic lows, affecting Lake Karaun. According to experts, at least 90% of Lebanon's spring dried up. Farmers in Bekaa Valley struggled as wells dried up and power supply dropped. Hydro plants shut down, hurting electricity production and water access across the country. In Chile, over 300 electric buses were added to public transport on Tuesday. The buses were launched in Santiago to cut emissions and modernize transit. President Gabriel Boric led the launch as part of a national climate plan. Officials said the plan aims to reach carbon neutrality by 2050. According to officials, over 5.8 million people are expected to benefit from the cleaner transit system. On to business and tech news now. Asian stock markets were under pressure earlier today, while the US dollar climbed to its strongest against the yen since early April, after US data showed tariffs were pushing up inflation. Australia's equity benchmark and South Korea's Kospi each lost around 0.6%. Meanwhile, Japan's tech and exporter heavy Nikkei traded flat earlier in the day. Oil prices rose earlier today, boosted by expectations of stronger summer demand in the US and China. Brent crude climbed to just under $69 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate rose to nearly $67, reversing 2 days of losses. But analysts warn the gains were temporary as tariff fears, slowing growth, and mixed economic data from China kept the market in check. President Donald Trump said that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent was a possible candidate to replace Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. President Trump said Bessent was doing a good job, but added he was not ready to make a final decision on Powell, whose term ends in May next year. He also criticized the Fed's $2.5 billion renovation plan, suggesting cost overruns could be a firing offense. The U.S. Department of Agriculture said it was cutting funding for National Network of Food Centers, a move impacting thousands of small and mid-sized farm businesses. 4 of the 12 regional food business centers were ordered to shut immediately, while the remaining 8 could continue only until next May. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins said the program was not financially sustainable and farmers should not expect it to continue. In automobile industry, Renault named Chief Finance Officer Duncan Minto as the company's interim CEO after lowering its full-year profit expectations and announcing new cost-cutting measures. The French car maker said cash flow had dropped sharply to just $54 million in the first half, hit by delayed billings and weak demand in Europe, at a time when it also faced pressure in China. Chinese toy company Pop Mart said its profits were set to soar by over 350% in the first half of the year, driven by global demand for its viral Labubu dolls. The Beijing-based company said sales more than tripled, with nearly 40% of revenue coming from outside mainland China. Labubu dolls, backed by celebrity endorsements and limited editions, have sparked a buying frenzy worldwide and even sold for as much as $150,000 at an auction in Beijing. Moving to critical minerals, the U.S. Department of Defense said it was continuing to invest in critical minerals project to diversify American supply chains for weapons and electronics. This came after the Pentagon recently signed a multi-billion-dollar deal to become the largest shareholder in rare earths producer MP Minerals. The move comes as the US seeks to reduce reliance on China and rebuild its domestic critical mineral sector. Meanwhile, Apple announced a $500 million deal to secure rare earth magnets from US producer MP Materials, a move aimed at reducing dependence on China. The agreement includes a $200 million prepayment and will see magnets supplied from MP's Texas facility using recycled materials from California. The deal comes just days after the company received multi-billion-dollar backing from the US Defense Department. Google announced a landmark agreement to secure up to 3 gigawatts of US hydropower in what it called the world's largest corporate hydroelectric deal. The $3 billion pact with Brookfield Asset Management includes a 20-year power purchase agreements from 2 hydro sites in Pennsylvania. Google also said it would invest $25 billion in new data centers across the region to meet surging AI-driven energy demand. Broadcom unveiled a new networking processor designed to speed up artificial intelligence computing by connecting hundreds of chips inside data centers. The Tomahawk Ultra chip was built to rival NVIDIA's NVLink switch, but can link 4 times more chips using an enhanced Ethernet. Broadcom said the chip was already shipping and would be produced by Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing using its advanced 5-nanometer process. Moving to sports, we begin with cricket. All eyes on India as after a confidence-boosting T20 series win against England, Harmanpreet Kaur-led squad plays the first ODI of their 3-match series. The inaugural match of the series is set to be played in Southampton, with the Cricket World Cup at home just 2 months away. The series is pretty much the last opportunity for the Indian management to nail down the squad's winning combination. England recalled spinner Liam Dawson for next week's 4th test against India. This after the injured Shoaib Bashir was ruled out of the rest of the series. Dawson made the last of his 3 test appearances 8 years ago, but the 35-year-old is in line for an unexpected return to the international stage at Old Trafford. President of West Indies cricket Kishore Sharma called for an emergency meeting involving past greats after the team was bowled out for just 27 in 3rd test loss to Australia. Sharma said there would be an inquest to review a dismissal 3-0 series lost. West Indies' previous lowest total was the 47, which they scored against England way back in 2004. In football, Spanish football club Atletico Madrid signed Brazilian outfit Botafogo's Thiago Almada. The deal was reached reportedly for $21 million. Almada has 10 caps for his country and was part of the World Cup winning squad in Qatar. He also represented Argentina in the 2024 Paris Olympics. Manchester City have signed a blockbuster new kit deal with Puma with over $1 billion for a 10-year period. City's extension of their contract with Puma ranks as the largest kit manufacturing partnership in the Premier League history. In badminton, we move to the latest action from Japan Open. Star Indian shutler Lakshya Sen advanced in the tournament. The Paris Olympic semi-finalist beat his world number 25 opponent from China in straight games in the opening round. Sen will next face 7th seed and home favourite Kodai Naraoka in the round of 16. Two-time Olympic medalist PV Sindhu suffered yet another first-round exit. The former world champion went down 15-21, 14-21 against her Korean opponent. This is Sindhu's 5th first-round exit this year. In men's doubles, star Indian pair Satvik Sairaj, Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty advanced in the Japan Open. The former world number 1 pair defeated their Korean opponents in straight games. The match lasted just 42 minutes. Star Belgian gymnast Nina Derwaal announced retirement from the sports at the age of 25. In a statement, Derwaal said she was retiring from gymnastics as she had achieved her goals in the sport. Derwaal became the first Belgian woman gymnast to win an Olympic medal in Tokyo Olympics. She won gold after twice being crowned world champion in the uneven bars. Organizers of the 2026 Milan Cortina Olympics unveiled the medals for the winter sports. The medals are 80 millimeters in diameter and 10 millimeters thick. The global medal weighs 500 grams. The 2026 Games will run from February 6th to the 22nd. The Paralympics are scheduled to take place between March 6th to 15th. And finally, in entertainment news, the 77th Emmy Awards nominations have been announced, with Apple TV Plus securing major recognition for its shows Severance and The Studio, leading in drama and comedy categories respectively. Severance earned 27 nominations, while The Studio tied a record for most comedy nominations in a single year with 23. HBO Max topped all networks with 142 nominations, bolstered by hits such as The Penguin, The White Lotus, The Last of Us and Hacks. Amazon MGM Studios and Hasbro Entertainment are developing the first ever live-action My Little Pony film. The beloved toy brand, first launched in 1982, has previously inspired multiple animated series and movies. The most recent, My Little Pony: A New Generation, was released in 2021. The new project is still in early development, with no creative team announced. Bruno Mars made a surprise appearance at a Blackpink concert, performing his hit Apa 2 alongside K-pop star Rose. The singer humorously thanked Rose on Instagram, joking that the performance helped him get almost out of debt, referencing long circulating rumors about alleged gambling losses. Rose shared backstage photos with fans celebrating the unexpected duet. A new documentary titled Stance, exploring rapper Eminem's career through the eyes of his most devoted fans, will screen exclusively at AMC theaters from August 7 to 10. Named after the 2000 hit that redefined the term stan, the film is distributed by AMC Theaters Distribution and will be available in over 135 locations. It would also receive a one-week awards qualifying run in New York. And finally, long-time American Idol music supervisor Robin Kay and her husband were found dead in their Los Angeles home. Both 70, the couple died from gunshot wounds, and police are investigating this case as a double homicide. No suspects have been identified. Kay had worked with American Idol since 2009. That's all for today. Thank you for joining us. I am Gursheen Galan, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow. Until then, stay informed and stay tuned to Firstpost.